Actually, I got one of those.
For the US.
I was working in New York for like 4 or 5 years.
And it lasted like 5 years or something?
The one they gave me was only 3 years.
Still 3 years.
Yeah.
If I can get my journalist visa done now, so I don't have to worry about it on the World Cup next year,
Yeah.
I think that's preferable to...
What's the visa code called? Is it F some... Yeah.
The other good thing is if I
Yeah.
do it now, I can get it done through Football Australia. And like Football Australia will do all the legwork for me.
I see.
Rather than having to go through FIFA or someone during the World Cup or worry about like a special FIFA visa or something like that. I can just get in. Like it's all the visas, like my visa for China, my visa for... I didn't need a visa for Japan. Visa for China, visa for Saudi Arabia were both organised by Australia. I assume I had a visa for Saudi Arabia. I never got sent one, but I just got waved straight through customs after giving them my passport. So I was actually terrified of that because I got on the plane for Saudi Arabia and I hadn't sent anything. So I'm like getting on the plane like completely unknowing if I'm just going to rock up in Jeddah and get detained for not having a visa. And like I'm in touch with the Socceroos and it's like, yeah, we've got embassy staff on the ground.
Yeah,
and
so
like you could just do like a visa on arrival for tourists and then we'll sort it out from there. Shitting myself going up to customs. I'm like the only white guy there, so I have a whole lane to myself because I'm not one of the special like nations that have their own lines at Jeddah. Walk up, scan it, go through.
But you have both citizenship for UK and only
I'm in the process of getting an Irish passport.
But you only have one.
I only have one right now for Australia. But once I get my Irish passport, what I'll probably end up doing is using my Australian passport to travel throughout Asia, and then my Australian passport to travel throughout Europe, throughout the UK and North America, and use my Irish passport to travel throughout Asia and Europe.
Is there like a tangible benefit? Like
one of the Irish passport free movement throughout Europe because they're still in the EU. Versus if I was to get an English passport, a UK passport, that's not free movement throughout the EU because of Brexit. And the benefits of having two passports is that if you've been to certain Middle Eastern destinations, if you've got those like stickers in your passport, you're liable to get all the cyber questions going through American customs. If not like outright bans. Like if you've been to Iran and then you're trying to get into the USA with Iranian stamps in your passport, you get a bit of trouble. So if I can just use my Irish passport to get into Iran and then an Australian passport to get into the US. But the same thing, if I ever had to use if I visited Israel for whatever reason, if you visited Israel, you get an Israeli stamp in your passport. A lot of Middle Eastern countries don't do that.
do you only do sports journalism or do you do other political stuff?
No, I have a degree in international relations.
Okay.
And invariably covering sport in Asia needs you do need to have a basis understanding of politics, but I don't cover politics.
But is that something you're interested in? Like,
Oh yeah, I got a degree.
I mean, no, as in interested in
I'm doing it.
as in, like career.
Probably too late at this point to switch over.
Oh, really?
Probably could, but
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, I much prefer sports because politics is too much bullshit. It's just, yeah.
Combination of too much bullshit, man. I get paid to go to sport. If I started doing political journalism, I'd have to pay to get into sport. Like, I can go to Europe, and if I want to go to a Premier League game, we just get up the clock, get a Premier League video, and go to a game.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I went to London, and I hit up Spurs, and got accredited to go to a Spurs game. And I hit up Arsenal, and got accredited to go to an Arsenal game. It's like, funny, my manager was freaking out a bit because he didn't know that I'm starting at 16.
5 quarter.
Oh, so he's had to update it.
It's good enough.
Well, that should mean they're on the ball as well, because there won't be any other other games happening at the same time to distract them.
Well, is there any other games at this time?
No, this will be everything else kicks off like at minimum at 7:30.
Players on the pitch. To a Box Hill United side which have invested heavily during the mid-season transfer window and are hoping to stage a thunderous push for the playoff places. My name is Joey Lynch. Thank you ever so much for joining us this evening on the NPL Victoria YouTube page, no matter where you happen to be it here in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, or indeed tuning in from anywhere around the world. Plenty of international talent on display tonight. So if you are tuning in as friends or family, welcome to what should hopefully be an intriguing contest. It hasn't been a good season for the Bentleigh Greens coming into this game off the back of 4 straight defeats, but coach Dario Simionic's side can maybe take some heart from it. Well, the last time they played here at home, they got a 1-0 win over currently finals-bound Alamein. For Box Hill, meanwhile, well, they're beginning to put together some good form. Undefeated across the past month, getting a 3-2 win over Boroondara last week as they continue to try to close in on the top 4. They enter today 7 points back of 4th-placed Alamein, needing to, well, last season you needed 42 points to make it into the finals. That's what 4th-placed Heidelberg finished on. Of course, they went on to win the competition in 2024, showing you that it can be done from there. They would need to pick up 23 points for the remainder of the campaign if they were to hit that number, should it indeed prove the magic number. But as we get underway here, Box Hill wearing their white away strips, blue shorts, kicking from the left to right of your screen in this opening stanza. The Bentleigh Greens, as you might expect, they're wearing green, and they'll be kicking from right to left across this first half for the hosts. They will start mid-season edition, Natalie Pickack in goal. In front of her, Amelia Tartaglia, Sydney Allen, the skipper, Olivia Ingham, Coco Parker, Delaney Kenny, Reagan Bridges, Tanika Lala, Corinne Tolios, Olivia Hager, and Samantha Curvet-Wagner. The Greens, though, they're going to have to defend here as that ball is sent in speculatively, but rather simply collected by Pickack. Box Hill United, meanwhile, starting Chloe McKenzie in goal for the 2nd straight week, ending a run where they had 3 different goalkeepers start across 3 different games. The youngster retaining her place. In front of her, Josie Olasino, Olivia Ellis, Karina Rossi, Rihanna Policina, who scored on debut last week, mid-season edition. Katie Cox, their leading scorer thus far on the campaign, as Policina almost comes up with a turnover there. Has it poked away from her? Sienna Chera can't keep it in. She gets the start, as does Sophia Alewoda. Maho Murakami makes her starting debut after coming off the bench last week, after arriving mid-season from Japan. Ellen Parbury and, of course, Sophia Sakalis, who has played every minute of all 3 of the games she has featured in since arriving mid-campaign from Melbourne Victory. And it is Box Hill looking to keep things locked in the Bentleigh Greens defensive third early. Sakalis forcing a turnover. Had 3 Greens defenders around her, but Box Hill will able to get the ball out and to the right. Parbury unable to just swing it in from there under pressure, and it'll be another goal kick for the Bentleigh Greens. Try to fashion a way out this time. You can see Box Hill getting set up in their defensive shape, hoping to force the Greens to knock it long to a 50-50, and that's where it goes. Sakalis with the header, couldn't find a teammate. And Kurvid Wagner, one of a number of Americans on the park today, will have the throw in on that defensive right flank for the Greens. Bentleigh trying to fashion an attack of their own now down the left flank. Haga able to keep it in, brings it back onto the right boot. Pass is slightly wayward, but Kenny cleans up. Delaney Kenny did well under pressure. Was able to poke it to Haga. And the Greens with the throw-in. Sent into the box, but the subsequent pass from Tolios can only find Policina. And now here comes Box Hill down there on second right flank. Siena Teixeira. In at the angle, getting across. And it's blocked away. Reagan Bridges. One of the Iron women on the park today, Reagan Bridges, has played every minute of every game for the Bentleigh Greens thus far on the campaign. Parbury falls backwards. Cox. Parbury. Played up the touchline by Haga. Unable to get on the end of it cleanly was Lala. And the Greens battling for it, trying to keep Box Hill honest. Ellis back in the starting lineup after coming off the bench last week. Taking back the armband as well after Policina wore it in the win over Burundara. Speak of the devil, Policina on the ball now. Policina, a lot of space after dropping deep to receive, carrying it forward. Ellis keeps it moving. Looks like retaining possession, knocking it around, just trying to drag this Bentleigh back line out of shape, find a way through. And eventually the Bentleigh Greens are rewarded for their hustle and for maintaining discipline with a turnover. Throwing just inside their own side of the pitch. Territory, more so than a teammate, is gained from it, but that will result in a turnover. Touch for Mackenzie. Parbury has it poked away from her, poked away well. Solios sends it central to Allen. Looking for Lala, couldn't find the pass. Policina looked up, saw a handful of green shirts in front of her, thought better of it. Sent it back to Policina, who in turn combined with her teammates as Box Hill looked to build. First time ball around the corner. Policina was the intended recipient. Tolios was in there applying the defensive pressure. Haga picks that one out. Policina starting at centre back tonight. It's been a regular midfield contributor for Box Hill. With all those mid-season additions for Coach Kongilan Sabaratnam's side. You want to get your best players on the park, so a bit of a reshuffle. Policina, another one who's been an iron woman of the league every minute of every game. Got a goal against Burundara last week, and she had to be good there with the intervention, but she was. Sakalis now. Both sides still really, you feel, in the process of feeling each other out. Box Hill may be shading things, but yet to really do anything that would quicken the pulse of Nat Pekak in the Bentleigh Greens goal. Murakami sends it across to Paliwada, who was kept honest by Tanika Lala. So she'll go back to Mackenzie. Olasino knocks the ball forward. Foot race is on. People busting a gut to get into the box, but said runs will be in vain as the flag has gone up against Sophia Sakalas on that left flank. Ball is hoofed long. Kenny sends it forward to Allen. Sydney Allen kept her head, got it back to Kenny. And knocking it forward behind the Box Hill lines. No teammates were really making any sort of runs into that area though, so it's going to come to naught. Messina knocks it forward. Chera giving chase. Bridges in the road for the Greens. Not the most convincing of clearances, but not going to be punished as Murakami. Just not quite controlling the ball properly, coming off the arm. It's going to be a free kick for the hosts. It's a good one as well. Haga. Stood up, at least initially, by Parbury. Looks to turn on the Jets and get to the byline. Left-footed ball in. It's a good one. Got a touch, did Mackenzie. The ball is still alive. Both sides scrambling. The Greens coming up with it on the right. Coco Parker. Closed down quickly, but an opportunity now for Bentleigh to get some numbers forward. They'll have their first corner kick of the game. Delaney Kenny, across the take, continues to log starts in every game she's featured in thus far on the campaign. Missed round 9, started every other contest. It's a good ball in and it's a decent header. Just flashing across the face of goal by Tanika Lala. Looking to just redirect it inside that far post with the faintest of glancing touches. But the hosts just continuing pressure, beginning to mount. Sustained period of attacking pressure for really the first time in the game. So they desperately try to come up with the ball and keep it going, but Box Hill, in the form of Policina, were trying to break that, but Delaney Kenny was up to the task, nipped in front of the, well, now former Melbourne City representative. Took the ball back for Bentleigh. Of course, Policina announced as leaving Melbourne City during the A-League Women off-season. One can only imagine she won't be without an A-League Women club for long. Sydney native, would ostensibly have suitors across the competition. Murakami. Just maybe a bit too lackadaisical in getting rid of the ball there and coming across to just, what's the phrase, let them know you're there? Coco Parker with a strong challenge. Lala trying to bustle her way through, couldn't manage it. Policina now. instructions coming from the Bentleigh Greens dugout, which you might be able to pick up on the effects mic as they look to get set up once more. Box Hill displaying patience. And now the ball comes, but it's a good defensive header from Tolios. Second ball, though, goes to the visitors. But again, Tolios intervening importantly, denying Siena Teixeira the opportunity to advance into the penalty area. Murakami. Maho Murakami knocks it forward. Rossi. Bit of time. Tried to tee it up for Pollicina. Falls for Teixeira instead. Her ball across the face can't be met by anybody arriving in white. And instead, Sakalis has to go out to the left flank to collect. Murakami. Her lunging attempt to control. Saw it deflect away. Rossi in the vicinity for Box Hill, but never really a danger to get on it before Pickac could claim it in the Bentleigh Greens goal. Sakalis dinking it forward. Pollicina the intended target, but it's not going to come off, and Reagan Bridges content to just watch it roll over the touchline for another goal kick. Not the warmest of nights at Kingston Heath, but far, far from any of the coldest that we've had throughout this Melbourne winter. Early kick-off helps with that. Part of a double-header tonight. The Bentleigh Greens men's side in action later this evening, as they continue their push for promotion back to the NPL Men's Victoria Top Flight. Greens women, however, entered today 12th on the table. 8 points to their name, 2 wins and 2 draws. They are just the 1 point back of 10th place Brunswick. However, unfortunately for them, 11th place is the FV Academy, and whilst that program status for 2026 is being reviewed, in the event they were to compete next season, then the FV Academy cannot be relegated. So 2 up, 2 down means that you have to be one of the sides that finishes above the FV Academy as well, which means that Bentleigh Greens' actual target is overhauling the Preston Lions, who are 7th place clear of them in 9th. So not impossible with 8 games to go, but it would require a significant turnaround in fortune. Pollicina poking it forward. Couldn't get it to Teixeira before Tolios sends it away, and now potentially something in transition. Lala bursting forward, going for goal herself, but Mackenzie had the angles right and got down behind the ball to claim. And then she's going to hurl it to Pollicina, who's got a lot of space to figure out what she wants to do. Teixeira got clipped, but play on is the call. Tolios may be getting away with one there, but referee's call is what we have to go with. They've done the badges, we haven't. Ben Howell is our referee today, assisted by Boyang Yu and Jonah Malaki. 4th official is Heng Sheng Li. Certainly some of the Box Hill contingent in the stands were insistent it was a free kick. There's not a good turnover. Lala poking it clear. And the Greens look to spring forth, but it's going to break down, as we have begun to see on a few occasions thus far. Maybe a bit of a pattern emerging, that pass in the final third when the Greens are able to get there. Just a bit lacking. Not that you can say Box Hill have been more lethal in that regard. It's just that they are probably having a bit more luck in actually getting the ball into those areas thus far. Ellis to Sakalis, the 2022 NPL Women's Victoria Gold Medal winner. Direct in traffic before knocking it long. Foot race is on, one that's won by the Greens, at least initially. Sienna Teixeira, though, doing well, refused to give up on it. Has the one goal for Box Hill since her mid-season arrival. Sienna Teixeira, goal in there, 2-2 draw with Essendon back in round 13. Carberry wasn't sure where that one went behind her. And it will be a Bentleigh Greens throw-in, just inside Box Hill's side of the pitch. Play on is the call. Policina combining with Teixeira. Little spin move from the midfielder before it sort of just rolled away from her and she had to try to recover. That was what, well, that provided Olivia Hargo with all the time she needed. To contest it and force the turnover. And one throw-in will lead to another. Nala tried to take it around the corner and then have it stolen away by Murakami. Palawater sends it to Mackenzie, keeps up her run and gets it back. Murakami provides the short option, instead knocked forward into what was hoped to be the path of Olivia Ellis, but a bit of miscommunication there as the left back could only watch it bounce across the line for a throw-in for the Greens. Sydney Allen, not the best of touches, and that's going to see Box Hill seize upon it. Early ball into the box. Reagan Bridges with the clearing header. Teixeira, though, seizing upon it for Box Hill. Talia couldn't prevent that cross. Well done from Parbury to keep it alive. That's a good ball in. Policina. Her effort saved by Nat Pickett. And a shot on target for Box Hill. And the player in Rihanna Policina that they want to be taking those opportunities. Teixeira gets it back from Sakalis. Miscommunication there, perhaps, but maybe Sakalis thinking that she was in an offside position. Whatever wires were crossed, they resulted in that attack breaking down. So Piquet preparing to take this goal kick. Goalkeeping change, the only one made by the Bentleigh Greens coming into this contest. Taylor Murphy started last week. And in the squad today, the backup goalkeeper is Taylor Wolfe, the 19-year-old. Made one senior appearance last season, none in 2025 for Wolfe. As mentioned, Box Hill have Chloe McKenzie in goal. Natasha Stathopoulos is the backup today. Two changes for Box Hill. Ellis and Murakami into the side. Zoe Hudson and Nicolina Bucalo making their way onto the bench. Just the second game all season that Zoe Hudson hasn't started for Box Hill. Another one was that round 12 draw they had with FC Bulleen Lions, a 1-1 tie at Wembley Park. That's a turnover, a high turnover. Sydney Allen on it, but the player's going to come back. There's going to be a yellow card as well for Olasino. So Box Hill pleading their cases. However, it's going to come to naught, and Olasino the Northwestern alumni, I should say, is first into the book in today's game. And it's going to be an opportunity now for Sydney Allen, who has demonstrated repeatedly ever since she first arrived in Victoria her aptitude on set pieces. It's going to give Sydney Allen the opportunity to swing something in. Numbers forward for the Bentleigh Greens, all assembled on the edge of the penalty area. Allen's delivery. Nodded on by Bridges. Both sides battling for it now before Box Hill just boot it clear only as far as Tolios, who sends it back from whence it came. But nobody there to meet it, bar Chloe McKenzie in the Box Hill goal. Paliwater, back to McKenzie. Olasino, closed down by Allen. Knocked forward. Players from both sides on the scene, eventually falls for Rossi. Got the ball to Murakami. Policina. Teixeira. Carberry. Kept it along the surface of Carlos. Murakami trying to play a 1-2 combination. Falls for Policina. Flag stays down. Sakalis turning, shooting. Sakalis denied. Pickat getting down low to her left. 20-year-old. First called into action to deny Policina and then denying the other high-powered addition to this Box Hill lineup mid-season in the form of Sophia Sakalis. But Box Hill immediately springing forth Rossi, and now she is denied by Pickat, albeit that one probably the simplest. The keeper, by virtue of the sudden nature of the turnover, was in a good position to close down the angle and the effort straight at her. Carlos, closed down by Allen. Sydney Allen did well as the Greens come up with it. Lala. Oh, look. It was always going to be difficult for the West Australians. She did have players arriving at a rate of knots, but probably not quick enough to meet that one at the far post. It was Olivia Hager steaming forward. And in the end, the side netting was the only thing found. Tolios knocks that one back forward. Paliwater meets it for Box Hill. Parbury. Back to McKenzie. Murakami got rid of it quickly with Allen lurking. As the second light plane of the evening flies overhead. If you're wondering what that buzzing sound was. Murakami looking up, trying to drop it into the path of Rossi. Denied. Had to wait to see where that ball was going to sit up from our position. It wasn't heading towards goal. Heart-in-mouth moments there for both sides, but again, Peacock coming up trumps for the Bentleigh Greens. Speaking with the coach, Dario Simonic, before the game, knew that with the attacking talent on Box Hill, knew that with the attacking talent assembled by Box Hill, that his young keeper might be called into action on several occasions throughout this evening, but it's bullish on her being up to the task, and thus far he's been proven right. Carberry sends it back to Rossi. Molesina, can she keep it in? She can, but unable to just get the angles up to drag it back to Sakalis. And it's claimed again by the Bentleigh Greens as light plane number 3 flies over the ground. Allen got the touch that saw it nodded on. Sakalis. Pollicina. Hope to get it back to Sakalis. Will eventually find its way there. Sliding it through, no. Takes a touch off the Bentleigh Greens. An important touch for those of a Bentleigh Green persuasion to take it away from Pollicina. That's going to be a turnover. Pollicina's in a lethal area. Pickett got enough on it though. And then bridges across again. The Bentleigh Greens keeper, she's having a fair old night. We're not even half an hour in. But definitely the 20-year-old, the difference between the Bentleigh Greens still being tied at 0-0 or trailing. And really bailing her side out there after a sloppy turnover. Murakami sending it to a wide open Pollicina. Sakalis, looking for Teixeira. Not clear. Sydney Allen can't bring it down. Pollicina juggling it, winding up. Pollicina. Corner. Peacock just unable to control that one and sees it roll out of her hands. And now Pollicina can amble across and prepare to swing something in from that left-hand flank. Players arriving in the box to meet it for Box Hill. Molesino, who has 5 goals thus far on the campaign. Not just a goal last week against Boroondara, but was also on the score sheet recently against Spring Hills and Preston, around 10 and 11. So she's playing centre-back today, but has also demonstrated something of a goal-scoring touch in recent times. Referee Ben Howell just laying down the law. Tartaglia and Sakalis, after receiving their instructions, rejoin that massive bodies that's assembled in the 6-yard box. Will be sent to the top of that area, sent clear by the Greens, sent straight back in by Murakami, but no teammates to be found, and the end result will be a goal kick. Big couple of weeks this for Box Hill if they are to begin to develop some momentum off the back of that win over Boroondara last week. 12th place Bentleigh Greens tonight, going against currently 11th placed FV Academy next week. That one's knocked away by Kurt Wagner. Well done from Delaney Kenny. Steal the ball away and then knock it forward. But I was on a bit of an island there, waiting for teammates to arrive, and had the ball taken off her as she did so. West Australian gets up and applies the forward press, keeping Olasino on her toes. Quick passing from Box Hill. Water, high looping ball in. Sakalis made the initial control, but then couldn't turn and face goal. And the Greens have the ball back, let throw in, but it's deep on their defensive left flank. Opportunity for Box Hill to try to erect the cordon. And it was well done there by Olivia Hager to just ensure that the tackle that came in when two defenders came towards her went out to Bentleigh Green's advantage. Tolios knocks it forward. Olasino sends it back to Mackenzie, who immediately plays the pass back to her centre back with Sydney Allen lurking. Ellis. Mackenzie now. Bentleigh Green's shape, denying Box Hill any easy passes through the midfield. Policina had dropped to receive, tries to place a pass. And a chaos ball breaks out. Box Hill come up with it. Cox sends it all the way back to her defence, who in turn went back to Mackenzie. So as you were, as Box Hill looked to reload and come again, Ellis brought it down, got it to Sakalis, who's bundled over from behind, and that's going to be a free kick. Simple free kick. Coco Parker will escape any sort of extra sanction, but it is going to be a free kick. Is it? No. Coco Parker maybe did indeed go into the book there. Certainly the referee's hand was raised. Immediate appeals for a card from the Box Hill dugout. Meanwhile, though, Policina is just, well, she's going to measure out the wall of her iron as she prepares to take this free kick. So Rihanna Policina will have this set piece, does know where the goals are, does Rihanna Policina. Denied at the near post. So less than 10 minutes remaining in regulation here on the scoreboard at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. 37 minutes just ticked away on that electronic scoreboard. Score remains Bentleigh Greens 0, Box Hill 0. As the latter send the ball into the box, looking to change that. Rossi couldn't get a shot away. Big collision there between Tolios and Rossi. Karina Tolios' attempted clearance doesn't send the ball clear, but it does bounce off the shins of the Box Hill attacker and give her side a goal kick. So tonight, as mentioned, the first game of the rounds. Preston and Essendon also taking place. The FA Academy facing Brunswick in another game that could have ramifications for the relegation battle. Alamein playing host to Bentleigh in a game that will have top 4 ramifications. Bentleigh moving up to 3rd after last week's results. South Melbourne hosting Heidelberg in a top-of-the-table clash. And Burundara Eagles facing off with Spring Hill. So some good games taking place across the weekends. Spring Hills and South Melbourne, of course, also coming off midweek action, the short rest from the Nike FC Cup quarterfinals, in which South Melbourne took the chocolates to advance through to the last 4. They'll face Bentleigh in one semi-final on July 16. Heidelberg United, the table toppers, facing off with VPL side Bandura United in the other semi-final. Those games, of course, live and free on the Football Victoria YouTube page. This will be the semi-finals of the Doherty Cup. Ball will fall to Sakalis. Pass went behind her teammate. And now, we could just come out quickly. The Bentleigh Greens, Olivia Ingham carried it forward. The intended recipient, Coco Parker, couldn't pick her out. Ellis knocked it forward before being cleaned up. Barely, I should add. And the throw-in is taken quickly by the Bentleigh Greens. Big switch of play from Delaney Kenny. Will fall to Sydney Allen, who kept the play moving. Hager back onto her right peg, sending it in and cleared away by Box Hill. Important intervention. Chera laying it off. Bentleigh doing their best to keep it in their attacking third. Bridges gets it to Kenny. Delaney Kenny maybe thought about the shot, instead went wide. Ball to the top of the box, finds no one, but it's not a good clearance. Will go to Sydney Allen. Hager, left-footed ball in. Wouldn't have counted if it had found a teammate. As the American had just strayed into an offside position. Olivia Hager has started all 3 games for the Bentleigh Greens that she's featured in since crossing over mid-season from Geelong Galaxy. As mentioned, Colorado native, played for Occidental College in Los Angeles. Had 3 goals in 11 appearances for the Galaxy before making the switch. Yet to find the net for the Greens, but, well, certainly if you are of the Bentleigh persuasion, no time like the present. Just under 4 minutes of regulation remaining in this opening stanza, plus whatever 4th official Heng Sheng Lee decrees is necessary. So it looks like some paperwork has been submitted by Box Hill, and they may be looking to make a change. So you'd have to think this would be injury enforced so close to half-time. We'll keep an eye out on that. Meanwhile, Bentleigh trying to fashion a shooting opportunity. Plenty of numbers back behind the ball for Box Hill. Tolios got it to Bridges. As Bentleigh looked to reload. Allen sends it out to the left once more for Hager. Good ball in towards the back post. Couldn't be met by anybody bar Liv Ellis. Sakalis. Nicolina Bucalo has shed the bib and is preparing to come on. With only a few minutes of regulation remaining. Meanwhile, at the other ends, Sienna Teixeira, who has been battling with Tolios all night, sees that one poked away from her. And it is going to be Teixeira that makes way. So Sienna Teixeira, who had been very busy early on for Box Hill, makes way. Meanwhile, back in the penalty area, The Greens clear it away, and yet certainly Sienna Teixeira had done her best to try to jog things off beforehand, but limping badly as she makes her way across to the Box Hill bench. So hopefully it's nothing too serious for the 18-year-olds. Melbourne Victory coach Jeff Hopkins, who had her on the books throughout the 24-25 A-League women's season, here in attendance tonight, so no doubt a keen observer or whatever ailment may have afflicted the youngster. Pollicina now from range would have taken something as spectacular as the attempt was audacious to find the back of the net from there. Wasn't, as you might have guessed. And the Greens come away with it, albeit Covert Wagner's attempts to find a teammate deflected away, and she'll have to make do with a throw-in. Ingham swarms, but the Bentleigh Greens only lost the ball for a moment. Hager seeing a lot of the ball in these last few exchanges, sends it across. Delaney Kenny, switch of play. Parker, sliding challenge, was danced around. Back onto the left peg, the shot. Mackenzie diving across. Setting it out for a corner. Difficult to tell from our broadcast position if it was destined to sneak inside that near post, but the 18-year-old goalkeeper taking absolutely no chances, as you would expect from any goalkeeper. And instead she will now make her way back to the goal line to defend this corner. Swung in towards the near post. Tolios from range. Just unable to keep it inside that left-hand post, as 1 minute of added time is signalled for here at the Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. 60 more seconds for one of these sides to find what would be an absolute gut punch of a breakthrough on the stroke of half-time. Box Hill have certainly had more of the chances, forcing Peacock into a series of sharp saves. Pollicina and Sakalis buzzing around, but a breakthrough yet to be found by either unit. And one won't be found on that occasion as Covert Wagner sends the ball clear. Coco Parker spinning and trying to win the ball. Lucino is there as well. And that will be all that was written for this opening stanza here in Melbourne Southeast. And we will end the first half as we started it. 0-0 between the Bentleigh Greens and Box Hill United. So the game finally poised as the two sides make their way into the dressing rooms. They'll have about 15 minutes to reset, reload, instructions to be handed down from both coaching staffs. You'll have the countdown clock for company as we await the recommencement of hostilities in the second stanza. But Welcome back, one and all, to Kingston Heath Soccer Complex for the second half of this round 15 contest in the 2025 NPL Women's Victoria season between Box Hill United, the visitors, and Bentleigh Greens, the hosts. And it was the former, Box Hill. They were certainly very keen to get this second stanza underway, emerging onto the pitch several minutes before the Bentleigh Greens eventually joins them out there on the Kingston Heath surface. And I guess as you peruse the stats from that opening stanza, maybe you can see why. 8 shots throughout the opening 45 minutes from Pythagoras, 7 of them on target. Bentleigh Greens weren't completely hapless, had 4 shots themselves, 2 of them on target, but the stats bearing out what the eye test would have shown you, in that Box Hill, well, were able to get the ball more consistently into the opposition's penalty area and send in some very, well, decent shots in the end. That Pikak in the Bentleigh Greens goal, she certainly came up trumps on several occasions, probably none more so than when Maho Murakami forced a high turnover straight to an open Rihanna Policina in the Bentleigh Greens penalty area. But other than that, making a series of saves that a keeper of her talent, whilst difficult, not beyond her by any stretch of the imagination. As the second stanza resumes here in Melbourne South East, no changes signalled by 4th official Heng Sheng Lee. So as you were for both sides, of course, a late substitution made by Box Hill in that opening half. Sienna Teixeira making way with what looked to be potentially an ankle injury, replaced by Nicolina Bucalo. So had he played to be able to bring off the bench, if you are Box Hill, has made 11 starts on the campaign, has Bucalo, still looking for her first goal of the season, admittedly. Teixeira did remain out here for quite a while during the halftime break, receiving treatment as well. Northern Victory coach Jeff Hopkins, who did come down tonight to observe, going over to check on her as well. So Box Hill, having been forced to make one other change. As mentioned in the first half, they've got Natasha Stathopoulos as the backup goalkeeper, Zoe Hudson on the bench, Gabrielle Simpson, Theodora Wilson and Georgia Karaparidis available as well. For the Bentleigh Greens, they've got Taylor Wolfe as the backup keeper, Izzy Fernandez, Maeve Brown, former Box Hill representative who started in round 1 for them, on the bench, Caitlin Storey, Belinda Stoichevsky and Rebecca Saber. Saber, of course, last year's gold medal winner, joint with Maya Markowski, continuing to work her way back into match fitness after back-to-back appearances off the bench after a long layoff prior to round 13. Hadn't featured for Bentleigh since starting in round 1 and round 2. Got her first goal of the campaign last week in the 2-1 loss to Brunswick Juventus. Meanwhile, Sydney Allen will deliver this free kick in for the Bentleigh Greens. Looking for Coco Parker. She did get a header to it. Couldn't drag her back towards goal and or finds an on-rushing teammate, and it will go out for a goal kick for the visitors. Box Hill wearing their white away strips with the blue shorts, kicking from left to right of your screen in this second half. Bentleigh Greens wearing their green tops, green shorts, green socks, kicking from left to right. There's Olasino playing centre-back tonight. Sends it forward for Sakalis. Sophia Sakalis. Brings it back inside. Looking for Maho Murakami. Turnover forced. And here come the Bentleigh Greens trying to find a way in behind. Lala, who has battled tonight, but often found herself frustrated against several defenders. Again, putting in a good fight for it, but it's going to finish up with a free kick awarded against Curvard Wagner and Sophia Sakalis will walk forward, having won the free kick taken by Olasino. Dario Simonic, not a fan of the decision in the Bentleigh Greens dugout. Meanwhile, his side gets back trying to defend this one. Rossi winning it high up the pitch for Box Hill. Sydney Allen in there defending. Long range effort from Murakami. But as you probably would expect, given some of her work in the first half, Pinkang makes the stop. Ball bounces through all the way to Paliwada, who sends it away. Comes straight back, but Murakami on the scene. Ball sent down the right flank now, Parbury. But that is where the move forward will end. Josie Olasino didn't like what she saw in front of her. Sends it across instead to Paliwada. Box Hill dugout, applauding the patience shown. Now calling for players to drop into the pocket, which multiple do. One of them was Bucalo. Olasino looking for Ellis. Ended up controlling that off her face from the looks of our position. Winning the ball back now, Liv Ellis. Brought down. Play on is the call. Sakalis grabs the scraps. Shielding the ball from Sydney Allen before taking it past her. Sakalis to the byline. Still on it. Cutback. Rossi finishes it off. Box Hill have their breakthrough. 6 minutes into this second half. Sakalis had the ball on a string before teeing up her teammate Rossi for the simple finish. And Rossi has her first goal as a member of Box Hill, her 9th in the NPL Women's Victoria overall. This 17-year-old attacker with so much promise. And you would have said it probably was coming. Box Hill creating enough chances that eventually they were going to have one sit up right for them. It did on that occasion. And here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex, the score is now the Bentleigh Greens 0, Box Hill United 1. And invariably, the question now becomes, how do these two sides respond? Do the Bentleigh Greens rally after falling behind? Quickly work to bring it back to level pegging, or is this where Box Hill begins to kick away, try to pile on the pain? In general, Bentleigh Greens haven't really been blown away in many games this season. Of those sides near the foot of the table, they do have the best defensive record, only 26 goals conceded thus far on the campaign. That's actually only one more than Box Hill entering this game. It's been going forward, which has been the major problem for the Bentleigh Greens. Only 16 goals scored on the campaign. That's now 11 fewer than Box Hill. Olasino surveying the scene before her, deciding that going laterally was the best option. Policina trying to bustle her way through, couldn't do so. Greens looked to break quickly, but not with passing like that. Bounces off our referee, Ben Howell. Will be a drop ball in favour of the hosts. Ellis sends it back. Sakalis took it away from Kerwood Wagner. And then she's going to be brought down by Ingham. Immediate yellow card comes out for the Kiwi. And looking at the live ladder now, that goal and the 3 points that would deliver Box Hill if this score stands be enough to move them up into 6th on the table, leapfrogging the Essendon Royals. Well, as mentioned, play Preston this evening, away from home. Tolios boots that one clear. Would also bring Box Hill within 3 points of the 5th placed Boroondara Eagles, who will host Spring Hills at the Venera Club this weekend. And perhaps most importantly for them would bring them within 4 of 4th placed Alamein and that spot in the playoffs. As Sakalis couldn't catch that one flush. Alamein playing Bulleen this weekend, so one of those sides in the top 4, if not both of them, guaranteed to drop points. In fact, we've got 1v2 and 3v4 this weekend, so it's definitely scope for those sides sitting 5, 6, 7 odds to make up ground on some teams in the playoff places this weekend. And thanks to Karina Rossi with a healthy assist from Sophia Sakalis, Box Hill, even though they probably have the highest mountain to climb of any of those aspirants for the playoffs, doing their job thus far.
Get up! Get up!
Molisino. Sakalis turns. Coco Parker applying the pressure, but Sakalis did well. Still going, Sophia Sakalis shielding the ball. But Delaney Kenny using her body well, winning the ball. Nala applying the pressure. Molisino thought she deserved a free kick for it, but play on was the call. Sydney Allen's attempt to play it around the corner for the West Australian attacker. Blocked away. Clever back heel from Policina. Cox had the ball knocked away from her by Delaney Kenny. A bit of a shove there. Policina on Coco Parker. Words exchanged afterwards. Maybe a bit of venom, a bit of feeling seeping into the contest. Sakalis to Cox. Just plays the way she's facing, gets it to Sophia Paliwada. Parbury unable to combine with Bicallo over there on that right flank. Allen. That will be a free kick. Tolios and her feet taken out from underneath her. as the Bentleigh Greens preparing to make their first change of the evening, and it will be Rebecca Saber preparing to make her third straight appearance off the bench for Bentleigh. Her fifth appearance of the campaign was on the score sheet last week. And if she could make it 2 from 2, it would be a much needed goal for the Bentleigh Greens. Currently staring down what would be a 9th defeat in 11 games. And make their already improbable task of climbing out of the relegation zone an even harder one. And the change is signalled, and it will be Coco Parker, the long-time Bentleigh Green. So long time, in fact, that when she signed for the club, they were Bayside United. She will make way. So that exchange of words with Rihanna Policina, one of her final contributions tonight. Won't be any more further fireworks between the two number 10s. Box Hill subs now being sent to warm up as well, so beginning to see both coaches now turn to their benches, trying to figure out how they can affect this game from the touchline. Meanwhile, though, on the park, Bentleigh trying to fashion something in attack. Olivia Hager, a couple of tricky step overs before it's poked away from her. Tolios, ball in her hands for the delivery. Saber. Touch for her after coming onto the park. Attempted cross, deflected away. Mahul Murakami sends it clear. Rossi trying to burst in behind. Rossi battling there with Bridges. Bridges had to be good because there was nothing but empty space in front of the Box Hill attacker had she got in behind her. Box Hill trying to step up and apply the pressure, but the Greens eventually knock it away and into a bit of safety. How long is the reprieve, though? Parbury knocks it forward. Couldn't find Policina. Kenny. She keeps it moving. Saber. Shielded the ball. Got it to Allen. Lala, who's come across to the right. Ball in for Saber. Tried the back heel. Goes and gets the second effort, but Mackenzie makes the comfortable collection at her near post. And it goes down as a shot on target for the substitute. Just getting her touch, her feet underneath her. Maybe if she's coming off a run of regular starts and has 60 odd minutes of football in her legs, maybe that back heel comes off. Still needs to knock off some of the rust, no doubt. Okay, maybe though beginning to stretch out after an hour's worth of football, which you'd have to think would potentially work for the Bentleigh Greens' favour. They have spent large portions of this game set back up in their defensive shape as Box Hill knocked it around. So an opportunity to get some of these dangerous attackers moving forward and trying to get in behind the Box Hill defence could work out well for them, as the latest attempt was to try to spring Sydney Allen in behind. Didn't come off, but it will be a Bentleigh Greens free kick. So they'll retain the ball. Not the best of free kicks. Ellis coming through in front of Lala. Kurt Wagner. Points where she's sending it. Tried to find Saber. Didn't come off. Murakami's header. Only as far as the Bentleigh Greens right back. Kenny's pass picked out. Cox. Kept a cool head, sent it backwards. Cries of relax, keep it from the Box Hill dugout. Coach Kugulan Sabaratnam just wants his side to, calm it down a little bit. Maybe nascent signs that the Bentleigh Greens are beginning to build up a bit of a head of steam, so he wants to just douse that. Carlo. The ball was sent in the direction of Rossi. Didn't quite come off. Murakami. Wanted Policina. Not to clear. Lala. Takes it away from Ellis. And then Olasino, but it was a heavy touch to beat the latter, and then allows Mackenzie to intervene. Ball is kept in. Ellis, first on the scene. Takes it away from a couple. Liv Ellis on a bit of an adventure from her position at left back. She's kept going, presenting an option for Parbury, and it's effort that is rewarded. She stayed forward. Murakami takes a look around, realised that if nobody else fills in that position, it won't happen, so she moves into left back. As Liv Ellis stays up the park, can they find her before she eventually makes her way back into the back line? Pelly Water carrying it forward, and that's where the attack breaks down. So there will be no second goal on the campaign for Liv Ellis, well, at least not from that exchange. Her lone goal of the season came back in round 8. One of several on the score sheet as Pythagoras beat Brunswick Juventus 5-0. Sydney Allen got it to Sabre. Olasino intervening for Box Hill. Sydney Allen again. Had Lala calling for her on the right. Instead, the pass went in the direction of Olivia Ingham. And Box Hill forced the turnover. Olasino to Cox. Olasino to Cox, I should say. Now Lala applies the press, forces Mackenzie to go first time to Ellis, but it's a good pass to the left back, who in turn sends it to Policina. Sakalis now. Trying to return the pass to Policina. Falls to Ellis. Certainly puts her boot through it, but just underneath it too much. And it goes out for a goal kick. So 68th minute here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. Karina Rossi's 52nd minute tap-in, really, after some good work from Sophia Sakalis in the build-up. The difference between the two sides. The Bentleigh Greens preparing to make another change. Paperwork being delivered to the fourth official as that ball is sent long. Ellis sends it back. And Sabre adjudged on that occasion to have just been too boisterous with her attempts to muscle her opponent out of the way. Cox for De Rossi. Ellis. Plenty of space on the left. Delivery maybe got away from her, though. Don't think that's a shot. And Pickett makes the save. So Belinda Stochevsky is preparing to shed the bib and will come on at the next stoppage in play. So a former Box Hill player, signed from them during the off-season. It's well-travelled, stints with Preston, Bulleen and Calder as well. Had been a regular starter, but missed a 3-1 loss to Heidelberg back in round 13 and came off the bench last week as well. Cox trying to chase that one down. Sydney Allen took it away, but it was probably taken away from her by Murakami. Now Sophia Sakalis sends it out to the right flank. Bicalo sends it in looking for Rossi. She couldn't get the shot away. Haga did well to battle for it. Now the Bentleigh Greens can have the ball in a bit of space on this right flank. Lala playing the ball forward for Sabre. She's taken wide. Shielding the ball. Sabre looking for a teammate, asking where the support is. Eventually it's found. And then the long-range effort from Delaney Kenny will come up for naught, and that will provide Stonchevsky with the opportunity to come on. And it will be Tanika Lala that makes way. So the West Australian mid-season addition from the Perth Glory makes way. So prolific during her time across West Australia. Still looking for her first goal in Victoria, but a good shift put in for the Bentleigh Greens attacker before making way for Socheski. And it looks like Stochevsky will slot into right back and Kurvert Wagner, who scored 3 goals in 11 appearances for Heidelberg before crossing over, as mentioned, will push further forward. And after that stoppage of play, it will indeed signal that a further change is needed for the Bentleigh Greens this evening. Karina Tolios, after the trainer was called for, will no longer be able to contribute to this game. Maeve Brown, another former Box Hill player, will make a rapid move off the bench and onto the park for the hosts. So it effectively ends up being a double change for the Bentleigh Greens. Maeve Brown and Belinda Stochevsky on in a bit of a reshuffle. Izzy Fernandez and Caitlin Storey, the other subs, on the bench for Bentleigh. Ball back to McKenzie. Ellis. Wanted Sakalis. Pass was never really there. Stochevsky getting in the road, knocking it clear. Just over 15 minutes of regulation remaining in this one, albeit with some injuries and 1 goal. We'll certainly have more added time than the 60 seconds we got at the end of the opening stanza. Ball in dispute. Eventually it's Sakalis that comes up with it, but it's going to be knocked clear of her. Throw in for Box Hill. And their attack in left flank. Polisina gets it to Ellis. Stoichevsky. Good tackle. Very good tackle, as it's going to last come off the Box Hill left back. Perhaps taken aback by that, she immediately retains possession for her side. Sabre lurking, Mackenzie sends it long. All up for grabs. Taken by the Greens. Sent down the left flank. Now players busting a gut to get into the box for the Greens. The intended recipient was Sabre. Before she could pounce, Olasino intervenes for Box Hill. I think I'm doing a good job. Two lads just walked past saying, well done, commentator. Commentating from the stands here at Kingston Heath as Sophia Sakalis comes forward once more. Shows Stoichevsky the ball. Clever move from Sakalis. Remember, it was her work on that left flank, driving into the penalty area that teed up Rossi for the game's first goal.
Just a set of backs, full backs.
Some coaching being delivered to Mackenzie from Box Hill coaching staff. I think that was right in front of our effects, Mike, so you at home probably had a better listen to it than I did. I think it was referring to the switch being available. Meanwhile, we'll await this set-piece delivery. Polisina preparing to swing in a corner. Couple of Box Hill attackers in the 6-yard box. Swung in towards the back post. No shot. But Box Hill get the second ball. Cox cutting it back. Bicallo. Two Bentleigh Greens defenders at her back. Olasino to Ellis. Palewater. Sakalis the short option. Instead goes to Mahal Murakami. Drags it back well. Polisina knocks it to Rossi. Bridges battling in there as well for Bentleigh. And it's going to be a free kick in a rather threatening position. Rossi was the player brought down for Box Hill. And Polisina, we saw her have a ping from probably closer in, but a more acute angle in the opening stanza, and she has immediately made her way across to take this one. 4-player wall being assembled by the Bentleigh Greens before one is sent clear. Just the 3 players there to defend it. Polisina standing over it. Polisina. Always got this feeling that the A-League women's stalwart was going to go for goal from there, but unable to get underneath it and have it dip back down, and it goes out for a goal kick. So 79th minute of this contest. Box Hill still retaining that 1-0 lead delivered by Kalina Rossi. Her first goal for Pythagoras. Sakalis. Did well combining with Policina, but commentator's curse comes off the Melbourne Victory attacker and out for a Bentleigh Greens throw-in. Ellis looking up, sending it into the path of Policina, but too much mustard on it. Pickett coming out to claim. And not a lot of interest in pressing being shown by Box Hill. They do retain the lead with just over 10 minutes to go. So the onus is on the Bentleigh Greens to come to them if they are to take something from this game and avoid falling to what would be an 11th defeat of the campaign. Tartaglia shields the ball as her side has the throw-in. Stoichevski's delivery, chested down by Sakalis. Kervin Wagner keeps it in and does well. Got it to Sydney Allen, but it's poked away from her. Bucalo now. Sakalis. Policina. Tight areas there as Policina tried to combine with Murakami. Liv Ellis with the throw-in. Flicked around the corner, but seized upon by the hosts. Really beginning to approach now or never areas for the Bentleigh Greens. 81 and a bit minutes gone here on the electronic scoreboard at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. Bentleigh trailing 1-0. Kills for a handball, a waved away. Bentleigh would immediately give the ball straight back to Box Hill anyway, albeit in their defensive half. Sabre will give away the free kick. Brings down Cox. Molicino's put in a fine shift at centre-back tonight. Long ball out. Ellis nods it on. Sakalis, first time ball attempt to flick it around the corner for Policina, doesn't come off. Allen with the header. Tartaglia does very well. Tartaglia now was closed down at the last by Cox. But it almost scooted through for Bentleigh anyway. And they'll have to get back now as Policina in possession for Box Hill, taking away from Stoichevski. Sends it out to the right flank. Buchanan looking to combine with Murakami. Reagan Bridges intervening on Bentleigh's behalf. Ellis fell over as she went for goal. Back on her feet, sending it out to the right flank. Delaney Kenny battling for it for Bentleigh as the ball is hoofed forward. But Haga unable to chase that one down before it goes out, albeit it did take a touch. No, it didn't take a touch of a Box Hill player. It will be their ball on that right flank. Murakami's touch sends it out to Sakalis on the left. Good ball to Pollicina, who has plenty of space to turn upfield. Sakalis on her left, that's where the ball goes. Does she have the speed to keep it in? She does. Closed down, so she'll send it back to Pollicina at the top of the box. Thought about the shot, but then thought better. Sakalis couldn't combine with Pollicina. It's going to come straight back to her, though. Wound up. Murakami couldn't collect. Sydney Allen now for the Bentleigh Greens. As they try to fashion an attempt quickly down this left flank. Ball played central. Maybe a slight miscommunication there between Olasino and Mackenzie. You had Olivia Ingham lurking. Maybe things a little frantic for a split second for Box Hill, but eventually it's seen away. Cox's ball wasn't the best, but Rossi hustling, winning it back. The goal scorer, Cox again. Olasino. Pollicina. Pollicina gets it back. Closed down by Reagan Bridges. Bucalo. Forced wide. She's forced back to Parbury. She'll in turn battle for it. Good defending from Maeve Brown down there. Cox. Palewater. Murakami. Parbury. Ball in. Behind Pollicino. Sakalis was lurking, but Stochevski got a touch. Sakalis. Second goal now would all but certainly kill this game off for Box Hill. It's going to be a turnover. Sydney Allen. Curved Wagner on the right. Fell as she played that ball in the direction of Sabre. Cox. Back to Mackenzie. You could just see the palm raised slightly, calling for her side to calm it down. Jessie Olasino. Closed down by Sabre. So she'll send it back to the keeper. Final 3 minutes about to come up on the scoreboard here in Melbourne Southeast. Intensity being raised by Bentleigh as they try to force their way back into this and find an equalising goal. Rossi's 52nd minute strike the difference. Clever back heel. Murakami couldn't win the ball, but Box Hill retaining possession. There's a bit of space now on the left. Pollicina has Ellis in front of her. Instead, she turns central. Bucalo, the intended recipient, not clear from her. But the ball will stay with Box Hill. 87 minutes, 50 seconds on that scoreboard, just behind the action. Ellis's delivery. Rossi stood up by Stochevski. She keeps it in. Does well to get it back to Ellis.
Georgia!
Pollicina's there as well. Pollicina winding up. Pickak makes the save. Not the best ball. Pollicina forces a strong save from Pickak. Sakalis that pounced. Already has one assist to her name this evening. And Sophia Sakalis. Could have easily had two if not for the fine goalkeeping of Pickak, who has maybe come a cropper in making the save. Stayed down on the turf. Referee Ben Howell across to just check on her, but she's back to her feet now. Good to see. As Policina moves across to take this corner. Final 60 seconds of regulation is upon us, as it's taken short. Water. Well, that comes to naught, really. So, Box Hill preparing to make one further change in this contest. We're about to get the signal for added time as well, so a bit happening for the fourth official. There's the Greens to get it out from the back line. They've come under a bit of pressure in these last few exchanges. Bit of an infusion of energy sent through Box Hill. Ellis gets the header forward to Sakalis, who will make it another full 90 since arriving mid-season, it looks like. And I've jinxed it because it is Sakalis who's actually going to make way. 3 minutes of added time is signalled for, so an extra 180 seconds of football to be observed. And it looks as though Sofia Sakalis will make way for Georgia Karaparidis. So the 17-year-old Karaparidis set to make her 10th appearance on the campaign. 6 starts thus far on the season. 3 goals to her name as well. Last of them coming against Preston. Meanwhile, Policina hunting for her second in as many weeks. And again, putting it over the crossbar. And now the change is signalled for. So, for the first time in her 4 appearances on the campaign for Box Hill, Sakalis will make her way to the bench. It is her assist this evening that, as it stands, would prove the match-winning one and sends Box Hill up to 6th on the live ladder. This is the first game that will conclude in this round 15 of the NPL Women's Victoria campaign. Plenty of action still to come across this weekend. Make sure that you're subscribed and across the NPL Victoria YouTube page for all of that. As the ball is knocked forward, Rossi will give chase. And Reagan Bridges, who has been good tonight, even if her side looks set to lose this one, intervenes. Rossi. Left-footed effort, rather tame, comfortably claimed. Saber. Knocked it forward eventually, looking for Kurt Wagner. Didn't come off. Policina knocked it clear just as she was crunched. Free kick given against Ojewski, and well, Policina just maybe holding on to that right ankle. Comes up hobbling. That's the former Melbourne City attacker. Coming off a career best season for assists in the A-League Women is Policina. And you can see the effects of that knock on that attempted pass. And that was all that was to be written here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex, and Box Hill United will make it 2 wins on the bounce, 5 without defeat. Just the 1 goal for Pythagoras on the evening, but that was enough. Karina Rossi striking in the 52nd minute after being set up by Sofia Sakalis, proving the match winner for Box Hill. They move up to 6 on the live ladder, putting the pressure on the likes of the Essendon Royals above them on the table. The Bentleigh Greens, meanwhile, well, their season to forget continues. Now 11 defeats on the campaign, and that ladder, that mountain to climb to escape the drop zone just becomes that little bit more challenging. Of course, they weren't disgraced tonight. They put in a heck of a battle. Physical, they certainly made Box Hill earn it, but in the end, earn it, Box Hill did, running out 1-0 victors this evening in the NPL Women's Victoria competition. My name is Joey Lynch. Thank you ever so much for your company this evening on the NPL Victoria YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe to every game of the NPL Women's Victoria season, every game of the NPL Men's Victoria season. Head across to the Football Victoria YouTube page for Doherty Cup and Nike FC Cup finals. But for now, thanks and success.